I already went in depth on a ton of the big games that are still planned for 2022, like Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, Saints Row and Gotham Knights, but there are actually way more titles coming this year, some that you maybe never heard of, while they are still looking very interesting. So I made another selection of some very cool looking games coming in 2022. I'm curious to hear your favorites in the comments down below. Leaving a like on the video would of course be really awesome. Enjoy and let's go. Warhammer 40K 2 is still great to this day, so it's exciting that the developers are very close to releasing their brand new game, which is still focused on melee combat, but this time not in the Warhammer fantasy universe, but in the far future. So that means that we can use our guns way more often. I think that Warhammer 40K Darktide looks very promising. And yes, 40K means a lot of crazy weapons, like the chainsword and the thunder hammer we see in action here. But we can also throw grenades now to take out the many enemies. We've been recruited out of prison to help protect the planet Atoma Prime from the cult called Admonition that seeks to control it. Which in short means that we have to take out a lot of demonic enemies. Still though, with Dan Abnett as a writer on the game who is known for a lot of novels in the 40K universe, we can totally expect an awesome story and a lot of lore here too. There seem to be 4 character classes to choose from, as briefly hinted at in the gameplay trailer, and while not much else is known, we do see a Cadian soldier and a more tanky ogre in here. So we can have a varied group if we want when playing in the up to 4-player co-op. There will of course be ways to customize our skills and equipment, and I'm just overall really digging the more gritty and futuristic look, and the focus on more ranged combat should totally switch things up as well. It's launching on September 13th, 2022, but only on PC and the Xbox Series consoles. It seems to be a timed exclusive, so maybe it's coming later to PlayStation. I also would not be surprised if it's launching day 1 on Game Pass, and then we will see it during the big Xbox show on June 12th, but we will have to wait and see. We don't know a lot about this next one yet, but during PAX East, Gearbox announced that they're making a brand new Tales from the Borderlands game. So yes, they're making it in-house, while the first game was of course created by Telltale. That is still operational, but most developers from that studio are of course gone. During the PAX East presentation, the boss at Gearbox, Randy, noted that this new Tales game will be focused on all new characters and all new stories, even though the first image seems to hint at the return of Fiona and Reese, the protagonists from the first game. So maybe they still play a big role, but apart from that, we will encounter mostly new faces, which could be really cool, because the first Tales from the Borderlands game of course had a lot of cameos and also heavily featured Handsome Jack. We should hear more and likely get a trailer in the summer. It's announced for 2022, as also noted in their announcement tweet, although Take-Two very recently said fiscal year 2023, which ends before April 2023. While in that same sheet, they do dedicate Marvel's Midnight Suns to that second half of calendar year 2022. So they're not sure about Tales yet. It could totally slip to early 2023, but we will know soon enough. A game that immediately caught my eye during the first PlayStation 5 showcase in 2020 was Stray. You might remember it, the game where you play a cat who finds themselves in a mysterious city with human-like robots. And we got some gameplay since then where we see that we can platform, we have to use objects to solve environmental puzzles to hopefully find the cat's family. But there's way more going on. We namely find a robot companion, B12, that can help us open things like lockers that were first unavailable, and also help us talk to the other robots in the city to hopefully get an understanding of what is going on. There's really a mystery here, because also next to the friendly robots there are some hostile enemies that want to kill our lovely furry ball, but luckily we have a UV lamp to fight back. I'm really digging what I'm seeing here, and it is of course next to the fact that it will be really fun to play a cat and scratch a couch here and there. The graphics look awesome as well, so I kinda can't wait. The game has been delayed a couple of times though, but PlayStation recently shared that it's slated for the summer for PS4, PS5 and PC, with no word on Xbox. With a 97 rating on Steam after almost 80,000 reviews, it only makes sense for them to make a sequel to Slime Rancher, and well, it's dropping in early access this year. We will once again step into the shoes of Beatrix, but this time go to a brand new location called Rainbow Island, which should be similar in size to the world of the first game, but this time with way more secrets to find and of course a ton of new slimes to collect. And even if the game might not be for you, I think we can both agree that these slimes are very cute, right? And it's funny how they're happy to be captured and they like it if you bring them food. The goal also is to upgrade your equipment and observatory so you can collect even more slimes. And if this sounds interesting but you want to try it first, well, good news, because the game is coming to Game Pass day 1 for Xbox Series consoles and it's also dropping on PC. From a lovely colorful rainbow island, we go to a spiritual retreat on a remote island where a ritual chant has gone horribly wrong and opens a portal to a nightmare dimension named the Gloom, which doesn't look that pleasant. All we have is this teaser trailer of the chant, but the website shares some gameplay details, namely that we must craft, fight and escape the psychedelic horror set loose when a ritual goes wrong and awakens a dimension of cosmic terror. The game is expected in October 2022, likely around Halloween. It's coming to next-gen consoles and PC. First it was announced for last-gen as well, but those seem to be cancelled. Now a game that still comes to all platforms is Lord of the Rings Gollum, which was announced in 2019 for 2021, but should now launch in 2022, as we see in one of the most recent tweets. But yeah, this was from December 10th, after the Game Awards, where they dropped the cinematic trailer, where we also see at the end that it still comes to every platform. They're taking more inspiration from the books for Gollum as a character, and this also means that we will see an entirely unexplored part of Gollum's journey, from his escape from Barad-dûr to his stay with the elves of Mirkwood until he finally reached the mines of Moria. And his split personality should also play a role in the choices we can make, although how this affects the story is kinda unclear. IGN was able to see a gameplay presentation of the game and described the traversal gameplay to be similar of Assassin's Creed and Uncharted, as we kinda see right here. Stealth should also be a key in this game. We have to sneak past enemies, silently take them down, and of course not alert other targets. But yeah, what you're looking at here is all the footage we got, and this was from 1 year ago. For one, it doesn't look that good. The concept art sure is promising, and I like the idea of playing Gollum, but without any official word and no update for half a year, I do find it hard to believe that we will play this game anytime soon. Still wanted to include it in this video though, as it is still officially planned for 2022. Soul Hackers 2 indeed looks a lot like Persona, but that is because it's also a Shin Megami Tensei spin-off. It sets itself apart though by focusing more on science fiction elements, which we also see in the game's visuals. So to be honest, I never heard of this title, but the idea seems to be that devil summoners create contracts with demons to fight for them, and we as the main character Ringo have to find and revive dead devil summoners, because they are believed to play a huge role in an impending apocalypse. We sadly only have live stream gameplay, so it should look a little better when it comes out, but here we see that we can walk around the map in real time, that we can enter turn-based combat after getting in contact with an enemy. Elemental weaknesses are a thing, but new are the Sabbath attacks, which you can perform after exploiting these weaknesses, and they are very similar to the all-out attacks we also see in Persona, but they are new to the Soul Hacker franchise. And of course, we can also spend time with party members to get to know them a little better. So if you need your Persona fix while waiting for the inevitable 6th game, then this might totally be for you. It's dropping August the 25th on every platform except Switch. If Sony is not going to make more Bloodborne, then other developers will. It's very clear where Thymesia is getting the inspiration from, not only thanks to the Victorian London Cthulhu style aesthetic, or the UI that looks very similar too, but the gameplay should be very familiar if you played a FromSoft game as well. It actually has some systems from Sekiro too, where parrying will turn more into a rhythm game to in the end create an opening so you can very easily strike. What kinda sets it apart though are the skill tree and the plague weapons. The skill tree namely lets you completely modify fundamentals of the combat, like modify your parry to deal less damage while increasing the window, so they're easier to pull off. Or you can remove your parry altogether for a special block that requires no timing, but only reduces damage instead of negating it. Now, of course, there are totally new abilities to unlock as well, but being able to modify core elements is pretty awesome too. Not to mention the plague weapons, which you have to craft, but that can do some really high damage to enemies. They showcase the spear, scythe, and also a sword already. Yes, I'll be keeping an eye on it. August the 9th for PS5, Xbox Series, and PC. Asterigos Curse of the Stars seems to be a game right up my alley. With a heavy focus on melee combat with multiple weapons to use and upgrade, I really dig the enemy variety I'm seeing in the gameplay and trailers, with also many bosses to take out. Yes, the Dark Souls inspiration is clear here as well. It's only more forgiving, where if you die you only lose a fraction of your stardust, which is used to upgrade your gear. Now there is a higher difficulty though, which is nice for if you're looking for a challenge. I overall really dig the combination of the Greek and Roman mythology. We play Hilda, who's investigating an ancient city in search for her missing father, and the city is cursed by the gods, which might explain why we see as many creatures as we do. There are a ton of different locations to explore. It seems very linear though, but I like the variety that we're seeing here. It's coming to all consoles, fall 2022, Immortals, Souls-like. Sign me up, I'm curious. Just like Tales from the Borderlands, there's another game we know is coming in 2022, but that we haven't seen yet. A brand new Need for Speed. EA already confirmed it in their lineup for this financial year, saying that it's planned for Q3, which between October and December. And we got some leaks from Jeff Grubb to give us an idea of what we can expect. For one, it should be set in a fictionalized version of Chicago called Lakeshore City. We should be able to tweak individual pieces of a car, and the auto-lock system to access the online multiplayer will also be coming back. I don't expect a trailer soon. It's being worked on by Criterion, and their lost Need for Speed was Most Wanted, after which they mostly helped with driving gameplay in Battlefront and Battlefield. So now they're back to lead this new Need for Speed. It should be next gen only, so that will likely do the graphics a lot of favors, and it's coming again at the end of this year. We do have gameplay of Cult of the Lamb already, and yeah, it looks pretty crazy. We play a sheep that is resurrected by a mysterious entity after being sacrificed, and soon will find themselves having a cult of farm animals. So the goal is to grow your cult by, for example, keeping your followers happy by performing a ritual for them to worship the idol in the middle of your settlement. But you can also go out into one of the 4 regions to spread your beliefs, which you mostly do by killing other cult leaders. Now, maybe you already see it, the gameplay looks quite similar to The Binding of Isaac, with this title also having randomly generated dungeons with branching paths. So, explore, get more gold, get more followers, improve your cult, and make your sheep more powerful. And just like Stray, the PlayStation Twitter account confirms that this game is coming out soon. This next title was revealed in 2017, and it looks better with every trailer. Atomic Heart has been on a lot of people's radar already for a while, thanks to the very unique setting, interesting mechanics, and some very impressive environmental and enemy designs, like this weird plant, but also many killer robots. The game takes place in an alternate history where the Soviets developed robots to win World War II, which has led to a golden age within the Soviet Union in the 1950s. We are tasked to check out a malfunctioning plant, and then we figure out that the robots have actually gone crazy, so now we have to stop it. Luckily, we got some really awesome makeshift weapons to help us out, things we can craft from salvaging robot parts. We saw some pretty cool ranged and melee weapons already, but also special left-hand abilities like gravity manipulation or freezing an enemy. I'm really getting Bioshock and Prey vibes from this, and as an added bonus, Mick Gordon, known for his work on Doom, is composing the soundtrack for this game as well. But the big elephant in the room is of course the fact that the developer Monfish is based in Moscow, and many gaming companies including Microsoft and Sony have stopped their support for the Russian market because of the ongoing conflict in Ukraine, of course. So it will be interesting to see what the impact will be on the release of Atomic Heart. Moving on to Cuphead, because it's finally getting DLC this year on June 30th on every platform. At least that is the plan right now, as it has been delayed many times. Sure, it's an expansion, but it also kind of feels like a sequel in a way because of the long development cycle and the amount of extra content. We can expect new bosses like a giant snow monster and a cowboy cow, so the playing levels are back as well, but we can also expect new weapons, charms, and most importantly, a brand new character, Miss Chalice. She's going to have a completely unique movement set with a double jump and rolling dodge, and also cool is that if you acquire her, you can play the main game with this character as well. Somerville is another looker being worked on by ex-Playdead developers behind Limbo and Inside, and you totally see the similarities as this, from the looks of it, also doesn't have any narration or dialogue for any of the characters. Which should be interesting as we follow a family of a mother, father, child and their dog as they're on the run from an alien presence. The game switches from 2D and 3D movement with some light platforming elements, but both teasers still remain pretty fake. Chris Olsen, who founded Jumpship, the studio behind the game, also notes that it doesn't feel like something he has played before. Okay, we will have to wait and see on that. It at least looks intriguing, and it's another Xbox and PC exclusive, and it will be on Xbox Game Pass day one. And we finally have a release date for Roller Champions. May 25th, this free-to-play 3v3 sports game is dropping on console and PC, but there's sadly no native PS5 or Xbox Series version yet. I was already able to play this game at E3 2019, 3 years ago, and the core mechanics were already in place. You namely have to throw a ball in a circular goal, but the longer you hold on to the ball, basically the more rounds you make as a team without losing the ball, the more points you get when you eventually score. As the defending team, you can tackle the opponents, while you have to time your dodges if you hold on to the ball. Seems like they really spent a ton of time to add more tricks, which you can combine, and a teammate can also boost you to more easily reach the goal. There's now a skate park available where you can practice your moves. There already seem to be ranked matches available at launch, and of course, just like every free-to-play game, you can earn rewards in a battle pass with many outfit pieces to earn overall. And I'm just really curious how this will do. I will at least be streaming it around launch. I liked what I played before. Will it be the new Rocket League? It could be huge. I think it has potential. I'm of course curious which titles from this list you're looking forward to the most. Let me know in the comments down below. Subscribe for way more coverage on these upcoming games. A like on the video would be awesome. And I will likely revisit this topic after the Summer Game Fest in June, where more 2022 games will likely be revealed. In the meantime though, you can check out my video on the big 2022 games you are likely familiar with. You can watch it by clicking on the screen. For now, I'll speak to you soon. Goodbye.